Hello and welcome everyone to today's oil price forecast for the 30th of May 2018, presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. So we're going to have a look at oil today, which has had a fairly sizable move to the upside. In fact, we've re-established a long position here on Wednesday after the breakout above the weekly highs here. And in fact, WTI crude oil, first of all, we can see here it's come back from a technical point of view to a very important underlying level of support, which we've continued to see support come in here over the last year actually. So just from a very basic trend line point of view, traders have continued to add to positions right at the lower end of the trend line and accumulating essentially at a buy zone. Now, we did discuss this on the week ahead commodity report that the net long positions from hedge funds and money managers had increased over the last week. After 4 consecutive cuts in terms of the overall net long position, we saw an increase last week, which suggested that hedge funds would look to buy back into a dip here in crude oil prices, because of course last week oil broke down over 5% to the downside, and now we're starting to see it recover. So this is the price structure at the moment of WTI crude oil. It is currently trading at $68.33 per barrel. If we move back over here and just have a look at some of the latest updates here, we have the crude oil inventory data, which is coming out tomorrow. So because of the bank holiday on Monday, the crude oil inventories will be a day later. So they'll be coming out tomorrow on Thursday at 4 o'clock London time. US crude stocks are expected to show a fall in weekly reports, which would potentially provide more support and be a bullish factor for the prices to go higher as well. Of course, last week we saw a significant breakdown to the downside in oil prices over $4 per barrel after Saudi Arabia and Russia were discussing raising OPEC and non-OPEC oil output by around 1 million barrels per day. So a lot of traders and investors are now awaiting details of this statement and of course the meeting which is to occur at the weekend between Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates, where we should get additional clarity here regarding crude oil and the potential next move here as well. Now, when you trade crude oil, it is a very politically driven and fundamentally driven market. So it's important to have up-to-date news when you're looking to take on positions with crude oil. So earlier on today, we've seen that Saudi Arabia and other OPEC states and non-OPEC allies are aiming to stick to a global pact on cutting oil supplies until the end of 2018, but they are ready to make gradual adjustments to offset any supply shortage. So that has essentially given the oil market a green light today to see fresh buying come back in to oil, and that's very evident here on the chart as we go across to Brent crude oil as well as WTI crude oil. It was interesting where we found support just around key zones here at the weekly pivot. We've also found support here on Brent crude oil after 3 tests of the weekly lows, which got well supported again on Wednesday, and of course today we've seen the breakout over a 2.3% move to the upside so far on Brent crude oil. So the next big driver here for crude oil will likely be Thursday's crude oil inventories. It's normally on Wednesdays at 3:30 London time. This week it will be on Thursday at 4 o'clock. On WTI crude oil, it's slightly lagging behind Brent crude oil. It's had a more significant move to the downside. As such, it could actually provide a better risk reward here for more upside for recovery back from $68 per barrel where it's trading at the moment. If it was to come back towards the recent highs here, we could see approximately a $4 move here for crude oil prices. US crude oil, if we were to see a recovery back towards the recent swing highs which we saw in mid-May, which took the price up to 4-year highs. If we have a look at this on a weekly chart as well, it's very evident the underlying trend channel which has been supported here on oil. We've come back for a retest of that channel which has been in place for over a year now, and on the weekly chart you've also got a bullish price structure in development as well. So I would definitely keep an eye on crude oil this week. It could be a very lucrative move here if we do continue to see additional follow through. We're certainly seeing a retracement at the moment after the significant move to the downside, over 5% move to the downside last week for WTI crude oil. Now, coming up over the course of this week, other news items that you definitely want to pay a lot of attention to will of course be Friday's non-farm payrolls, and we of course will be trading that at the Gold and Silver Club. We see some great trading opportunities which are lining up with gold, with silver, with platinum as well as we get a little bit closer towards the end of the week here. So non-farm payrolls will of course be coming out at 1:30 London time. We will be providing a preparation session for all of our traders traders at the Gold and Silver Club. If you'd like to find out more and if you'd like to join us for that special preparation webinar to trade non-farm payrolls and take advantage of some of the breakouts, all you need to do is go to www.jointhelivetradingroom.com for more information and to join us on Friday's pre-non-farm payroll webinar. All you need to do is go to www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. The link is also below this video in the description, so feel free to click on that to make an application. And of course, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to be kept updated with the latest commodity market news.